This is Commission hearing number 50 of Friday the 14th of February 2020 in the case of 005 Khaled Ball, case 0022 Olivia Vincent, case 031 Sharon Morgan, case 032 Derek Morgan, case 33 Sylvia Morgan, and case 45 Clive Deloye.
Thank you. We have the next witness, Mr. Basil Savvy, on Skype. Could you please swear the witness?
Yes. Mr. Savvy,
Yes,
ready to take the oath?
I have.
Put your right hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I, Basil Savvy,
as Osavi,
swear
swear
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give,
shall be the truth,
the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
but nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savvy, for appearing before the Commission today over Skype from Australia. The Commission called you in relation to case 0022, Olivia Vincent, which concerns the deaths of Simone Denous, and Mike Asher also died. The Commission understands that Mike Asher was staying with you at your home on the night of their death, and that your car was seen in the convoy of cars along with that of Simon Denous's father as it was heading off into the night to the location where we believe they were killed. So the Commission would be grateful to hear from you what evidence you can give in relation to the matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all I'd like to say is good morning to you, Madam Chairman, and the distinguished guests. Okay. I will go a bit slowly, and if you have got too fast, please let me know. Okay, on the 19th of October 1982, I left my home at La Misère at about 5:30 p.m. to take my housekeeper home at Oniol. My car was a blue Honda S40. There was Mike, my son, and myself in the car. On our way back home, Mike asked me if he could make a phone call. So we stopped at the Marine Charter for the call. After the call, we stopped at the Marine Charter. After the call, we went straight home until we reached the turning to the tracking station, where we got stopped by an army truck. We were taken out of the car and handcuffed and transferred to the back of the army truck. The army personnel was Claude Marie. My son, Stephen, was about 6 years old, but he was not handcuffed. On the way, I heard Claude Marie saying we got to stop at State House first. So we did and waited for about half an hour at State House. After leaving State House, I had no idea where we were going, but it was at least a 20-minute drive. On arrival on our destination, we was taken in a building where we met with a personnel, Marengo. I saw a few other army personnel, which I can't recall any of them. but I am sure some of these army personnel was not Seychellois. The way they were speaking. While we were waiting, Marengo came to me, pointing his revolver at my face, and said, "Do you know what that is?" I replied, "Yes." "Are you going to use it?" "Go ahead." And he replied, "I will soon do it. You are a troublemaker." Okay, I waited for a while, and TRNUC came in handcuffed with 2 army personnel. We sat down and waiting for a short while. We waited for a short while until the president came in. The president ordered Mike and TRNUC to be taken away to a room, and I was taken to another room. The president came in the room where I was and started questioning me to what is Mike doing in Seychelles. I told him all I know is that Mike and his girlfriend came for a short holiday. He also asked me, do I know what Mike's intention to do while he was here in the Seychelles? I replied, no. Okay, the president then left me alone for a while until he returned and said to me, your car is and your son is outside, go home. I will talk to you later. I got home at about 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning. He also told me to come to the State House in the morning at 10 a.m. the next day. So I did, I went to the State House the next day. He told me not to get involved in politics anymore, otherwise he will deal with me himself. And I am not to tell anyone about what happened, not even to my family. At that moment, I asked him to what happened to Mike and TRNUC, so I can tell Mike's girlfriend. And he replied, Mike and TRNUC had a car accident. And the police will investigate the matter at a later date. Okay, I would like to say, if my son was not with me, I would not be here today. Last time I saw Mike and TRNUC is when the president separated us to each to our room. And thank you. That's about all I can say.
Can I ask, how did you know Mike Asher? What was your relationship?
Mike Asher came to Seychelles 3 years before that, and I met him as a friend at Marine Charter. So we went to Rhode Island for lunch together, and until he came back last time.
So you just met him when he came to Seychelles and made friends?
Yes, well before the date I just spoken about.
Uh-huh. And were you aware of his activities?
No, I wasn't. But I knew that he was a friend of Gerard Waro, because when I was in London, Gerard told me that Mike will be coming to the Seychelles sometime and his girlfriend for holiday.
So there was that connection as well. Do you know?
Yes.
Do you know where you were taken? Where you were taken for the questioning? The location?
No,
No.
I have no idea. But after when I went back, I went out with my son. I thought it was sans souci.
And was it a large building or that you
No,
were
it's a concrete, like a concrete building.
a concrete building? And could you estimate how big it was, the size? How
Well, what would I say? Maybe 20, 30 foot by 30 foot, maybe. And I would like to say also, when I went out when he told me my car was outside, my car was completely covered with mud.
was that as the result of driving through mud or they put mud on it?
Yeah, I think when they took my car away, they must have driven somewhere where there's a lot of mud.
Mr. Savi, you said this is Marie-Thérèse Purvis. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Just asking if you can hear her.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You said Mr. Rene told you not to, when you went to see him the next morning at State House, he told you not to get involved in politics anymore.
Correct.
Were you involved in politics before that?
Yes, I was, yes.
What kinds of political activities were you involved in?
Well, I was involved in 412 in London,
Okay.
412, but I was not in the same room as the other person. I only met Gerard at the bar at the hotel.
Did you ever tell anyone what had happened after you saw Mr. Rene and he told you not to? Did you tell anyone?
No.
No.
No, I never spoke to anybody at all, not even my wife or nobody at all.
How, and
Because Mr. Rene was really, he meant what he said.
and when did you leave to go to Australia? When did you leave Seychelles? When did you leave Seychelles?
I left Seychelles, I think, in 1986. And during the time, 82 to 86, I was being followed. Everywhere we went at night, I was being followed. And I even got stopped and a gun pointed at my face through the window of the car.
Church.
Well, what do you think had happened to Mike and Denise after you last saw them?
I really wouldn't know at all because I wasn't present at any of the when the president spoke to them. I wasn't present at all. The only thing I heard was the next day when the president told me that Denise and Mike had a car accident.
Did you believe that?
Pardon?
Did you believe that?
No.
The army personnel, you identified Marengo and I think Claude Marie. There was no other army personnel that you recall that were there?
No, I couldn't recall them, no.
Do you know how many?
There was, another army guy there, a young one, which the president told him to take my son out the room, take him somewhere else until I call you back. But I can't recall his name. But he was a Sheshelwa.
And how many soldiers were there?
I reckon there must have been eight soldiers there.
Mr. Savi, good afternoon, Bishop Wong. You mentioned Marengo. What was his first name?
I don't know his first name. Sorry, I don't. The only person I know his first name is Claude Marie, which was the president's bodyguard. That's all.
But was the Marengo a young man or an old man? Or
No, he was
medium-aged?
probably the same age, middle-aged man.
Middle-aged.
You mentioned also that there were some people, some soldiers with a foreign accent.
Yes.
What type of accent? Is it Indian, Chinese sort of, or Tanzanians?
I reckon it's Tanzanian.
So they were Africans, black Africans.
Pardon?
They were Africans, were they?
Yes.
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 Black Africans.
Yes.
After the death of Mike Asher and Simon Denus, in those days, what was the perception?
I personally I've never met Denus. I know him by his face, but I never spoke to him at all. But I did not know that Mike Asher was involved with Denus at all. All I like to say that while I was in London with talking to Gerard is a chap who, if he tells you something, nobody else knows about it. It was every individual person, its own self.
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew that. I never knew Denus to talk to and all that. I knew his face, but I never spoken to him.
Okay. What was the rumors after the death of Mike Asher in your circle, in the society? What were people talking about?
Well, there was a lot of rumors, which I like to say that. I said, I hope that these people who did all these rumors about Mike Asher, what happened to Mike Asher and Denus, will come forward, because some people, rumors was saying, oh, they got hooked by the mouth, they got their fingers cut and all that, which was a lot of rumors. And a lot of people thought that I knew about it, but I don't. I never saw any of these atrocious actions. And I do wish that after somebody hears me talking today, they will present themselves to you people and making all these rumors, they'll come out the truth, whether it's true or not.
Mm.
And what did you tell Mike Asher's girlfriend?
Well, I told when I got back home at 1 o'clock in the morning, she asked me where Mike Asher was. I said, Mike Asher has been stopped for interrogation. I don't know, we'll know nothing until the morning, because I got to see the president in the morning. And by the morning, she left. She left my home and she went and stayed in a hotel until she departed.
So she just left. She just decided
She
di-
left.
Yeah, she didn't want you.
Yes.
She didn't want to
She
stay.
decided to stay at home and she went to the hotel. I don't even know what hotel she went to. I couldn't get hold of her at all after that.
And she obviously, did you tell her before she left that there'd been a car accident?
No, I didn't know. The only thing that I told her, like I told you, when I got home in the morning, and I told her that my Kasha is being interrogated, and I don't know, I will let her know later on what's happened when I see the president at 10 o'clock. But I never spoke to her after that.
Because she just left. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. And Mike Ash's family, did they ever contact you or ask what had happened? No.
Not at all, no.
And the girlfriend, you never heard from her again?
No,
No.
never heard from her.
No. Did you go to the funeral? Did you go to the funeral?
No, I didn't. We didn't have a funeral because I asked when the funeral. They said there won't be a funeral. All it happened that I think I don't know who took care of the body and all that. And when my wife returned from South Africa, my wife was in South Africa at that time with my other son for an operation. And my wife went to the cemetery and she was stopped by an army personnel, said, "You're not to visit this grave again. We don't want to see you there at all."
So he was buried in Seychelles, but you're not allowed to go and visit the grave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were buried at Montfleury, yes.
At Mount Fleury.
I don't know, maybe on my own point of view. I mean, they know where they were buried, so maybe it's too late now to find out for DNAs and find out exactly what happened to them.
When you were stopped at the turn-off to the tracking station by Claude Marie, how many soldiers were there in that truck?
When you were stopped,
Yeah.
you were stopped, how many soldiers were there at that time?
When I got stopped, there was about 4 soldiers in the truck, and 2 of them came out, which is Claude and another one, and they told us to get out the car and they handcuffed us and put at the back of the army truck. There was two with us in the army truck and 2 in the front.
I mean, it must have been traumatic for your son. He was only 6 years old.
It was.
Yeah,
He still remembers it, even though he was 6 years old.
terrible.
Because when we were stopped at La Misère, I know Claude very well. I told him, I said, what have we done? He said, well, I can't tell you what you've done. All he's been asked to get you and my cashier to stop you for interrogation. And that's all.
You said Claude, is that Claude Vidot?
I think it's Claude Marie. He was the president's bodyguard.
Okay.
They used to call him Claude, but I think it's Claude Mary.
And when the president was interrogating you, did he threaten you with any violence?
No, he didn't. No.
When you were allowed to leave, did you ask what's going to happen to Mike? Can he leave too? Or?
Yes, I did. I did say that in my writing that I asked him. I said, "What happened? What's going to happen with Mike and Denus?" He said, "Look, they need to be interrogated furthermore." And after that, he told me, he said, "You can go home, and I'll meet you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning."
When he told you they have been in a car accident, did you challenge him at all and say, how were they in a car accident when you had them up at this place where they were being interrogated? Or did you?
Well, I did.
Yeah.
When he was talking to me, interrogating me, I told him, I said, "Look, Mr. President, if they haven't done anything wrong, why don't you deport him? I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong since he arrived in Seychelles. And in your own mind, if he hasn't done anything wrong, why don't you deport him?" He said, "No, we'll have to interrogate him and decide what to do afterward."
Did that indicate to you that they might kill him?
Yes.
I mean, it must have been awful to leave him there with that knowledge,
Exactly.
you know, terrible.
And I was, I had the feeling when they were interrogating, when he was interrogating, when he disappeared for a while, I said something is going to happen. But there again, I really thought maybe they interrogate them and let them go, but it didn't happen. I never saw them again after that.
What kind of questions did the president ask you?
Well, he asked me, so if I knew what Mike was going to do in Seychelles. I said, no, all I know is he's come for holiday with his girlfriend, which apparently Mike, when he returns, was going to get married. So he came for a short holiday in the Seychelles. And he asked me, he said, "Are you sure you don't know what his intention is?" I said, "No, President, I don't. He's never told me anything, and I never heard anything that he was going to do something."
Any questions?
Mr. Savvy, thank you so much for speaking with us today. You've given us very important evidence. I mean, this is the first time. I mean, we did hear from the brother of Simon Denus about him talking to someone on the telephone and the president interjecting at some stage. And in that telephone call, the president made an admission to him of having direct involvement in this. But this is the first time we have like an eyewitness giving us that evidence of being there, seeing them there, being told the next day by the president not to speak about it. You know, they had a car accident. I mean, it's very critical evidence that you've given us. So we're very grateful to you. We're getting a little closer. agree with your sentiments that those that were present at the time of the interrogations, it would be very helpful if they would come forward. We have no further questions for you at this stage unless you have something you would like to add.
No, I'd like to say maybe in my own mind, I reckon when Mike Asher asked me to stop somewhere to make a phone call, I got a bad feeling that maybe the phone was tapped. And who he spoke to, I do not know. He might have been speaking to TRNUC and say something, I do not know. He never told me his conversation, but maybe the phone at Marine Charter was tapped and they found out something was going on. I do not know. I know this is my own opinion.
And that would have been, what, 6 o'clock, 5:30? What time was that?
Yeah, we would about between 6 and 6:30, yes,
6
on
and
the way back home,
6:30.
yes.
TRNUC got a call, I think about, was it about the same time? So you could be
Yes.
right on that. And we have heard from
Yes.
people that phones were tapped. Yeah.
Because I reckon, I never noticed it because I reckon that we've been followed since the time I left my house until the time I came back. But I did not notice anybody following me. Who would? I didn't take any notice of anything.
Where was your house? Sorry, we forgot to ask you. You were on your way back home and you got stopped by the tracking station entrance turn-off. Where was your house?
Yes. Where was mine?
Your house.
My house was just at the end where the tracking station is. I had to go right up the tracking station about maybe quarter of a mile further up on the top of the hill. You have to go through the American gate
Yes.
before you get to my house.
Okay. Yes.
So thank you so much, Mr. Savvy. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you coming forward and giving us your evidence today. We hope that you inspire others to come forward and give us the pieces that are still missing. But we're very grateful to you. So we thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm obliged to do it. So I hope everything goes well, and for all the other people whose statement, they can do a statement today. But I do wish these people who made the saying a lot of rumors will come forward now.
We do too.
And the truth will come out, what really happened. Somebody must know exactly what happened with TRNUC and Mike Asher.
Thank you.
Yeah, we agree.
I got my own feeling, but I didn't see it happen. So somebody must know what happened.
Let's hope they come forward inspired by your example. That's what we hope. But thank you very much
hope
again.
so.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you very much, and have a nice evening.
All right. You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And can you call the next witness, please? He's been waiting, right? Mr. Pillay.
Mr. Michael Pillay.
Thank you, Mr. Pillay, for appearing before the Commission today. We understand that you would like to respond in open session to the 2 questions that we had asked you, and then we would go into closed session and hear something else from you. So we asked you to appear. We were actually requested by the family members in the case of Gilbert Morgan and the case of Carlette Ball. And Mrs. Carlette Ball, and I think it was Sharon Morgan or Sylvie, I can't remember, Mrs. Morgan, both said that after their loved ones had disappeared, they had been approached by you and they felt that you had something you wanted to say to them that you never said. And so they asked us to ask you whether there was something that you wanted to say that you hadn't said previously. So it might sound a bit strange, but the family did ask us, so we thought it best to accommodate them. So I give the floor to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I knew Mr. Morgan business-wise only, because I had a company opposite the Cemetery Montfleury. OK. Mon comme M. Morgan, à travers un besoin de travail, mon frère, on a un business charpentier. Fait un meuble, galet bois, fait n'importe quoi en bois. Alors, seule façon, je consomme comme ça. Je ne vais pas compter plus que ça. Mon cède, sa madame, qui ne prend peut-être mon frère, mes condoléances, à cause de mon père des garçons 2 ans passés. Plein de mon isolement, je fais des condoléances pareillement. Seule façon, mon comme M. Morgan. Deuxièmement, je suis allé, mon compte, comme il y a un magasin, pour écouter la moussa. Si nous besoin de quelque chose qui n'a pas côté la moussa, nous allons le côté pour lui. Peut-être qu'il y a quelque chose qui n'a pas côté la moussa, nous allons acheter côté lui. Seule façon, mon compte samedi, à Sanali. Pas plus que ça. Mon soeur, ça madame aussi, peut-être une quoi, si les gens sont mon soeur, mon frère, mon condoléance, ils ne prennent ça dans n'importe quelle façon, mon soeur pour lui. Alors, mon soeur, père des garçons, déjà passé. Plein de mon approchement, pareillement. C'est tout.
I mean, I guess when you're, desperate to find out the truth, you might read things into approaches, so I can appreciate, they had a feeling, but maybe, it was.
Thank
so
you.
Gilbert is a businessman. He didn't try and get you to join his coup d'etat, did he? No?
As I said,
Yeah.
Pas mon
just-
dit.
Yeah.
mon consomme, juste comme ça. Pas plus que ça.
Yeah.
Faire travail du bois pour lui,
Yeah.
n'importe de quoi, il vient payer moi y aller, c'est tout. Moi, je me lance réglé, vous n'avez rien.
Well, at least the family will know, now,
Thank you.
and that burning question they've had,
Thank you.
would be answered. Do you have any questions in there?
Mais au pas dans ça temps où tu n'as aucune connexion avec aucun dimon qui fait politique ou bien qui
Mon n'a pas connexion,
politique.
aucun, à part, mon papa participe au SPOP, moi, je suis grandi là-dedans. That's all. Moi, je dis voter, ça ne prend pas aucune action, sabotage, c'est tout. On vote quand il faut voter. À cause de nous-mêmes, nous qui faisons une bannière SPOP, c'est à l'époque. Une political banners. Nous qui faisons, mon papa, moi. Nous qui faisons ça, nous qui supportons sa parti politique, nous qui believe dans quelque chose. Mais après le coup d'État, mon la main. Nous avons un problème, nous avons besoin de Dieu aujourd'hui. En public, là. 77, à septembre, comme ça. À part après qui date, qui joue. On a arrêté de mettre l'hôpital.
Excuse me, sir. Did you want to go into closed session or you're happy to be in public
No,
session?
I think I'd rather go right as it is right now.
Yeah, public
Because
session. That's good.
I can't keep this any longer.
Yeah, good.
Alors, en 77, après le coup d'État, en septembre, comme ça, si je me rappelle bien. Mon gars met l'hôpital, moi, j'ai un homme dans sa docteur qui pique pour les pieds. Moi, disais non. Mon gars, donne nom, moi, j'ai un homme son nom. Il y a une permission avant. À côté d'aller, il dit pas nom, non. Mon gars, un homme son nom. Moi, je mon gars, il dort avant.
Just a treating doctor. He was just treating you. He didn't try to kill you or anything. You're not sure?
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was met my piqué là, à piqué là. Mais la ta piqué quand on les bois, mon gars non ça dit moun.
So, why were you hospitalized?
Good question. Mon a pas la réponse aujourd'hui. À cause troisième jour, on pique moi. Dans mon genou là. Troisième jour après, tu viens de dire moun. Ça aussi, moi, je non, non. Je ne vais pas papier si encore. Dès que je me dis que British Airways, tu obliges mon papa, poser mon sœur en Angleterre, qui me fait un problème avec le système. So
you don't know why you were hospitalized, but you were,
yes,
and then you were treated by a doctor who gave you injections and never explained to you.
no, never.
No?
I know, maman connaît. À cause de mon chemin après coup d'État, moi, je suis pas d'accord, mais je conteste coup d'État. I believe que, moi, quand, je vais mettre ça de nouveau. Moi, je connais, mon gars a un courage pour capable de dire, le semaine publiquement, coup d'État n'a pas accepté. À cause, dans le monde dit ça, le monde vient à l'ennemi de l'État.
Mais où tu as le tout seul, le
Moi tout
Sénat,
seul,
pour
moi
faire
tout
ça?
seul, moi tout
Oh,
seul.
tout seul.
Moi
Ok.
tout seul,
Pas
oui.
avec un groupe.
Non, du tout, moi tout seul. Et troisième jour, après, on a piqué le monde des nous. Il y a du monde qui avec mon avion. Son nom, vous avez le papier encore. C'est score en Angleterre. On a fait 3 mois en Angleterre. 3 mois, 4 mois. Je retourne ici le 31 décembre 1977. 28 ans plus tard, je ne pas sentiment bien encore. Mon papa amène docteur Ferrari, Maxime Ferrari. Et il demandait que moi, à cause de mon tourne seul. Mais il n'a pas passé moi. Mon tourne c'est moi. Quand je believe, c'est moi.
So, against your will, they put you on a plane and sent you to England
Exactly.
because you protested
Against the coup d'État.
against the coup d'etat.
Et avant aussi, M. Mankam, Chief Minister à l'époque, il me visite un workshop, Cosmic Chamber. Plein d'enfants qui peuvent prendre travail contre moi. Airport, tu peux faire. By Costains. Il y a un qui sont peut faire. Ils vont pas avec moi. Ils visitent nous samedi après-midi. Sans l'invitation. Ils vont nous visite. Ils causent bien. Nous recevons à ligne, cause bien. Après, ils allent. Ils publient l'article au bulletin sur lundi. En bien. Félicite nous. Airport bien ouvert. Continue à travailler par le travail. Après que ça commence à devenir difficile pour nous, nous avons l'équivation. Je vais la réponse. D'ailleurs, fait plus courte, mon musée fermé, sorti, en bas cimetière. Ça te dit.
Did your father continue to be a supporter when these things happened to you?
Oui, à cause, il ne comprend pas quelque chose, pareil, maman ne comprend pas, maman trouve quelque chose qui vient. Et toi, je peux dire depuis à l'époque, mon roi est venu aujourd'hui. Après 6 mois, je suis sorti à mon cimetière, dans 79 ou 80. 6 mois après, je commencé à compagnie, construction. Je prends l'office en l'air Kingsgate, vis-à-vis par exemple. Nous commençons à travailler. Nous faisons construction par là, dans Zibelom, Norris Point. Nous faisons la case aussi pour David Plaus, sa pilote. Je venais préparer un mandat de station pour moi. Moi tout seul. Ça arrive le 26 décembre 1980. Mon parle Nessus Dance. Mon fils en l'air tout. Madame pour moi. Et que monsieur, je madame. À la Bright Psalms. Et j'avais les 8 heures du soir, quand on va de partout, on dit 300 puis, madame, moi, avec moi, et que ça d'aille vers. On a aussi. Madame, ça. On ne le pas bien. Arrivant là, il vient inspecteur, plusieurs gardes. Il vient avec moi. À la Bright Psalms. Il t'amène moi obligatoire. On réviser par aller. Un arrêtement obligatoire. Normalement, 6 ans consigne en ville, centrale. Ça n'a aucune explication. Fortin, député de la police, qui a à l'époque de place l'autre commissionnaire. Les nazis, très mec, moi. Ils m'ont mis un matelas. Ils ont mis un matelas dans la selle de 15 oreillers. On va la casser, mais ils comptent moins bien. Son madame Tinez. Ça veut qu'on nous autres. Fait 6 jours là. Et madame, mon frère, plutôt, mon grand frère qui était ministre. Il a envoyé par son chef. Il vient dire moi, je demande, dis que moi, moi, ici, beaucoup ça fait avec moi, puis tout le monde en Angleterre, comme mon frère. Il dit que moi, ça me tient Joseph par la il dit si on ne pas déposer 150 000 roupies, je ne vais pas rien quitter ce pays. Alors, moi, je ne vais pas l'argent. 6e jour, on garde bâton, on vient de Land Rover. La panne de ma famille, ça joue quelque chose. Pour oublier Land Rover, permets-moi, c'est moi. Donc, là, permets-moi, c'est moi. J'habite la misère. Maintenant, croise la misère avec plaisance, je continue à aller même. L'obligement est assis derrière le Land Rover, qui dit, mon c'est même pas connaître qui est dans force Land Rover. Moi, là, passe quoi la misère, présence, je ne peux pas la misère. Moi, je dis, qu'on nous aller, bon là. Nous pas aller vraiment d'aller. Nous allons même, mamel, continue. Je dis, bien écoutez, cascade, le drive Land Rover sauve vite. Quand tu débarques moi, là, c'est en soyal. Quand tu débarques, bandes peut espérer piquer, un tout le monde là-bas, descends mon canson vitement, pique-moi un piqué ici, pique-moi un piqué là-bas, moi terre. Là, même on levé dans un petit casseau, le canal là, avec un commun à terre. Pareil, je ne sais pas quoi aujourd'hui, mais nous civiliser, ça vit ça. So, tu comprends, mais c'est Dieu pas ça. Canal, bah, au dehors. Tu as mon ami qui nous gagne ensemble. Et l'autre côté, il y a un casseau de côté, je ne peux pas aller, moi. Des motifs joignent, dans les 80, les gens font 6 ans consigne. Moi, aller passer dans le code garde, mon frère, code garde central. Moi, aller. Bon, il y a blessé partout. Il y a battu avec 4 bâtons lui aussi. Moi, je vais battre moi, c'est mon arrive, moi, ça plus tard, je vais m'expliquer. À cause, il y a une réclame sur l'argent coup d'État, de moi apprendre. Là, moi, il a l'asile. Le lendemain, on les réveillé, montant sur la voie. C'est un miracle qui ne s'est pas lié avec moi. Je dis, ça où? Je dis, oui. Il non, mon nom, son nom. On fait un tour de 4 mois là-bas. Moi, j'ai un business, j'ai commencé. C'est office Ocean Gate, en étoile. Ben, je mets 3 mois, 4 mois d'asile là-bas. Obligatoire. Et là, je paye 4 mois après. Moi, je ne paye du tout. Moi, je ne paye du tout. Business, tout à faire. Tout mon contrat, partout, on sise, mon gars volé, en étoile, partout. Manque quelque chose. Dans un cas à faire, on prend un établissement de travail, on dit à la case de misère, on dit faire. On travaille, le tableau, tout ça encore. n'est bien non, rien. Là-bas aussi, plus aller n'a pas travaillé, c'est celle. Mon gars a l'occasion, ben les amis, jamais tu as pensé. Il peut au Canada, on ne donne pas ça pour la ville, ça joue. Il m'a parlé, il quitte sa pays, il n'a pas un an à aller. Il dit, où tu veux aller? Il va au Canada. Mais Dieu, ok. Mais promets-moi, il n'a pas ça, on est en ville. Il va écrire moi. Oui, il m'a écrit moi. Après, il écrit moi, mon gars salit. On prend la formation. Moi, c'est quelque chose, une bonne femme pour moi, dans moi. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Lui aussi, ouais. Tout le monde peut aller. Donc, ce qui est bon. 91, c'est pas le moment. On va vendre tout ce qui est moi. Il faut un ticket. 4 enfants, on a moins que moi, dans le Canada. Moi, le premier. Moi, là-bas, une semaine avant les autres. À la porte, je vais tu m'as plus tard, heureusement, nous avons un procès, nous avons accepté. Ils sont Madame la ministre ici qui a envoyé par Saint-Sage.
Were you given political asylum in Canada or?
Yes, I was given that at first. Moi, je suis obligé de prendre ça pour accepter. À cause de nos pays, c'est encore un one-party state. Alors, même dans 91, là, moi, apprendre, je suis là-bas, il vient mal de parler du système. Nous tendez. Nous comprenons ça. Sans ministre qui a là-bas, il dit, le gouvernement fait descendre ces lois. Et le gouvernement t'a écouté là-bas. Après tout, qui n'arrive ici. Plein de ces lois qui sont dans la route de la vie de votre famille là-bas. Ils sont obligés de retourner chez eux. Donc, il n'y a pas que des positions. On apprend. Elle me compte très bien. Tu sois là-bas. Tu prends un job dans. So, Mme Chenez. Il y a un tas de gens, moi, qui bon Dieu, courage, non, qui va tenir 7 ans, puis le 8 ans là. En juillet, ça fait 8 ans. À cause de même Ali qui m'ont raconté aujourd'hui. Nous commençons encore là-bas. Mon qui disait $400 américains pour 7 ans. Avec des linges, moi, allez. N'a pas de pas faire Canada. N'a pas de travail, on peut faire. État commun, j'ai salté des bacs camions 40 pieds, 50 pieds longueur. Pour voir qui m'ont capable de mettre l'argent toute la semaine côté de mon femme. Pour capable de faire, qui m'ont fait macabé. M'ont fait comme ça. Toute la semaine, je l'argent de madame pour moi. Et 4 enfants. Zaman qu'on l'a mis là-bas. Et heureusement, répète le samedi. Amassé, mon amassé, mon amassé. À la fin, pas facile, ça doit payer là-bas, ou un docteur, ou ça va, ou un maçon, ou un job. Ou vous avez commencé en bas. Vous avez un autre papier là-bas. Même les docteurs sortis ici, dans les termes, ou à passer seul channel canadien. Mais moi, aujourd'hui, je un papier canadien, English Cabinet Maker. Comme on va passer, mais écrit là. Tout un document référent, dans le compagnie de mon travail. Je même dire que quand vous allez rester que nous là-bas, vous parlez la faire c'est où. Moi, il est là, il m'a retourné. On fait 22 ans là-bas. 8 fois c'est dans 22 ans. Là, on parle de 8 ans Ziliette. Donc, au Canada, de 13 Ziliette. Alors, si un homme mental est traité par un docteur, vous rappelez-toi là comme ça? Vingt voir mon faire salaire 67 ans. Vingt travail mon fait macabé. Pour comprendre. Ça ban di moun, pas di moun. Pas di moun qui fait son procès comme ça. Père des garçons déjà passés. Tu peux venir. Cause moi un mois et demi avant. Comment faire moi sentir? Si le bagage s'allait, on partit pour moi là, on partit pour vers sa boubou. Sa boutine commence à guérir. Mon refusé si ça l'est. C'est dit passé. On fait ça, monsieur, ton exalit, mon pas pour venir. Si l'on n'a pas mis des autres exalits pour dire mon conséquences, mon parti pour venir. Encore. Tu as bien ça sur moi. Mais ça l'est, je m'en bouger. Je n'ai pas gagné retard. Et si ça a guéri, les caisses, des madame, mon hope, mon clarifier ce problème. Mon lui répondre ça. Mais là, quand on a besoin de faire connaître ça, les autres qui m'ont passé là-dedans. Les banques étaient puis l'île qui nous donne. La gâtelle, t'es qui m'ont dit quête. Comment tu faisais ça? Qui n'a pas d'hôtel, c'est une pique qui pique comme ça. Au Canada. Devant le Canada. Devant le Canada, disent autres. Mon sort là-bas, mon slate clean. Mon document est avec, en référence. Comme on travaille tout d'ailleurs. Demande sur mon compte, moi. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire là-bas?
No one in your father never helped you to. Nobody said, why are you giving him these injections? Did your father not ask, or did anyone try and assist you?
Il est grand ami président. Il believe, il vient faire bien pour sa pays. Et quand je me senti pratiquement ouvert sur la bouche, dit, non, papa, mort comme ça même.
Monsieur Pilet, bonjour. Est-ce que dans l'attitude, dans le comportement, est-ce que vous avez du monde violent?
Bah, voilà, si il y a du monde provoque moi, c'est quoi beaucoup de jeunes. Ma réponse, c'est une étape, moi, je prends. Je pas vraiment de question. Ça m'a dit comme ça. Mais aujourd'hui, je ne vais pas causer.
Vous imaginez si sa doctrine de nous, c'est une injection, c'est une piqûre là. Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas une piqûre qui peut aider ou pour calmer ou.
Même à l'époque, personne n'a dit que je suis violent avec les autres. Moi, j'ai un atelier. Pensez-moi à l'atelier. Ça prend chance qu'ils m'ont en pour montrer que ça ne m'a pas travaillé. Aujourd'hui, personne ne va dire aux adultes, dans le propre business, dans le droit, tout. Au droit, moi, ça dit moi. Donc, on reconnaît qu'ils ne gagnent pas. Et ça, quand c'est expérience de nouveau, on vient avec. Je ne pas ça, c'est mon travail. Je vais faire de nouveau. Hopefully, il y a un développement, est-ce que ça laisse, par le 8 ans, je ne pas voir un maman qui est intéressé avec ce métier. Chana Modern School, qui montre tout autre métier, vis-à-vis du collège. Tout ça, on tire après coup d'État. Là, quand malheur a commencé. Il n'y a pas de gars remplacé et quelque chose de plus bien, plus bon. Depuis petits enfants, vous avez éduqué, ça va quelque chose. Par là, maman a 18 ans pour apprendre le métier. Il est trop tard. 10 ans, 12 ans, vous avez accès à ce qualité métier. Pas d'une cabinet docteur, mais quoi? Vous avez payé ça apprenti maçon. Alors, à la, en ville, dans les bazars, rempli maman, 18 ans, 19 ans, dans l'auto. Qu'est-ce fait dans l'auto? Pirate. Qui gouvernement peut faire? Quand nous peut aller comme ça? Personne ne peut pas dire sa question. Ramasse ça dans l'auto, mets en dedans, mets ça dans maman de la consigne, soit apprendre le métier. Ou en taxi, qui paye la licence? Qui met ça exister dans un pays comme ça? Tout ça, dans question peut trouver. Nous besoin de voir ce qui me voit. Nous ne pouvons pas voir ça dans des gens qui croient, ils believe qu'il a fait plus bien qu'il dit ça qu'il a. Même ça qu'il a, même qui a venu. Donc, pas qu'on est. Donc, pas intéressé. Si c'est pas si d'avoir place pour l'argent. Un peuple peut dériver. D'or, il ne remplit pas à tous côtés. Voli pas à tous côtés. Dans le magasin, je fais couvert contre nous. Dans la place contre moi. Fais couvert. Pas ni même 2 mois. Jeune maman, qui a passé une casse à magasin. Donc, il volé. Même si ça laisse, on met pas qu'on est. Il ta gars, il prend finger, toute l'information. Personne ne peut pas aider. Qui l'aide nous avec la loi ici? Nous avons fait nos propres sécurité. Contre nous. Il a tenu un grand couteau. C'est nous. Ça vient nous la police pour ça. Ben, tant que téléphone la police, on finit mort. Nous avons un problème. C'est grave. On l'appelle au 7, 8 ans. Il est terrible. Nous avons besoin que c'est qui peut arriver dans le pays. Ça, il est ça qui nous passe. Moi, tu crois que c'est un boubou qui finit par guérir? Nous avons un boubou grave devant nous. Là. Mais par contre, personne ne peut pas de se trouver. Mais on peut dire qu'ils vont voir, vont vivre ça la vie tous les jours que autres là. Parce que c'est ennemi. Pas capable d'accepter ça. Qu'est-ce que vous changer? Et c'est pas besoin de bouger. Assez que la vérité. Voilà. À 200 bandits, bouger. Voilà.
Can I ask, when you decided to speak out against the coup, what was your objection to the coup? What were you saying?
I believe, mon quoi, c'est si on gagne, je vais comme tu causes avec moi, je définis ça. Je vois, d'agon, tu accordes, d'agon, un bar en ville. Premier building, en lettre, un bar appelé d'agon. Tu peux demander comme ça. Est-ce que vous montez? Moi, là, on est là-bas, à cause, je vais regarder un film au lieu de cinéma. Au moment man comme dans le bar. Pas prendre la bière. Ils ont fait moi double whisky. Ils crient moi à côté. Ils m'ont chépilé. Michael. Cause de chouine. Là, il fait ça. Cause de cri. Cause de monsieur. Dis sinon. Chouine. 10 autres travaillent, faire sa coalition massée. Alors, moi, je ne pense pas ça qui m'a dit. Mais moi, mon belief, c'est si ou tu crois qu'on va faire plus bien qu'il manque comme. On a pour. Nous gagnons l'indépendance sans un goût de sang versé. Nous gagnons, mon grand frère, nous gagnons faire une consigne. On va faire strike pour travailler avec augmentation. Pourtant, on travaille avec le soin à 18 ans. On fait bien l'argent. Nous allons prendre la page pour faire ta gros devant l'USPOP. Bon, nous faisons une augmentation partout. Nous gagnons arrêté que la police. Mon grand frère, Tony, moi, l'autre, un gars qui s'appelle Malaye, qui vend le pétrole. Dans la station, tu as encore la vie de Moussa. Nous sommes arrêtés à cause, tu as un petit bout de tuyau dans l'auto, tu as un petit peu de tuyau soir. Tu t'es là, il fait un mécanicien, là, il quitte l'auto clé. Quand nous parlons d'un petit bout de tuyau, qui ça vous faire en ville? Ça garde inspecteur par côté d'Ivoire, Côte d'Ivoire, ça. D'arrête nous. Des avis collés, je dis dans le monde, tu étais. L'éducation. Ah, mais nous, t'as qu'on consigne. J'en ai un gars appelé Asford. Malheureusement, papa, une tante d'information. Maintenant, vous mettez ça, mon papa. Vine compte, gamme, c'est si, monsieur René, fait là avec nous. Nous disons comme ça. Qu'est-ce que c'est répondre à madame? Sous believe ou premier qui manque, on gagne place premier ministre. Qui fait une amène sa physique, c'est celle. Après, t'attends 5 ans. Mais tout le monde plateforme d'ailleurs que le peuple. Le peuple a zizé. Si vous êtes meilleurs hommes pour le pays, ou bien mancam. Non, pas qu'on y a un physique, dans le descend, on a fait un coup d'État. Mais qui met sa pays là-dedans? Qui met le ça? On demande 10 billions de dollars, mon parole. Regardez. Pas qu'à retourner mon garçon. Et tout le monde qui ne perd. Nous n'avons pas la réponse, ça. I hope, si on choisit de faire ça, il y a même un closure, excellente affaire. À cause de l'homme, des 3 jours pas dormi depuis qu'on a papier. Alors on prend un coup de pied avec ça. Là, on va nous dormir tantôt. Tout besoin de mettre de bonnes connaissances. Mais autant là dehors. Dis, on a s'éduqué aujourd'hui. Mais l'Internet, on a plein pour faire. On peut venir aussi. Nous ne pouvons pas rester en question de bosser, mais ils se causent critiquer. Une tasse. Même des gens qui nous connaissent plus de nous, mettre en question de nouveau. Qui a sauvé son info pour tout. Si on connaît que c'est le premier, mais dehors. Nous pas même physique. Nous ne pouvons pas sauver le problème physique. Nous devons aller monde entier. Ça prend ma main. Coup d'État pas assez d'aucun quoi le monde aujourd'hui. L'éducation, premier. Quand tu as avec mon zen, banque dans l'argent. Gain faire une communauté plus busy qui était. Nous avons tout réclamé. Faire un sentier bateau. Maman retourne encore vers ça quelque chose. On décide d'un auto pirate en ville. Qui est ça? De pas voir toi là? Maman trouvé. Mon fils a 7 ans et demi. 22 ans ici. Mon père dit plein amis. Qui est mort, qui est malade, handicapé. Un de mon joint. Nous grandissons ensemble. Mais ça, besoin bizarre. Pas moi qui vous dis. Nous le connaissons bien, ça manque aussi là. Il y a encore question?
Yes, I mean, it must have been quite shocking, to be put on a plane and sent out of your country, for 3 months. I mean, where did you go? Did you know someone?
Je remercie mon papa, mon second, ça c'est tout. Et là, il y a une école en Italie, il est là-bas. Mon papa, nous met la foyer dans lui. Dit, mon papa, école mon second, il dit, si vous recevez un marque, là, il y a un problème gouvernement. Tu as vu des tickets plus chers, un moins que l'autre du monde. Oui, ça. Recevez moi là-bas, fait 3 mois, 4 mois. Je n'ai pas de solution. Moi, je dis, mon second, je ne vais pas rester encore. Pourquoi qui fait moi en Angleterre? Moi, je suis un garçon 3 ans, même temps qu'il est mort, déjà passé. Et voilà pour moi, tu es ici. À cause de ça, dès 10 mois, je retourne chez elle. Ça qui fait moi retourner. Je retourne le 31 décembre, elle rejoint un autre, je fais l'équipe, non pas 10 autres, il quitte celle pour Bahreïn, pour 2 ans. Qui sa petite 3 ans avec un second cancer. Qui fait moi changer, moi retourner? La mère de l'autre Ferrari, mon papa, il ne pas bien. On ne pas un homme comme ça, moi. Moi, un homme très dynamique. La plaisance que ça t'a dit. Moi, il connaît ça t'a dit. Mon papa, permet-moi de gagner l'endroit. Nous faisons ça t'a dit. Nous ne pouvons pas prêter un outil personne, ni la banque avec personne. Papa demande ni un outil, pas de moi. Donc, ici, là, ensemble, c'est pour moral et son amour qui nous fait nous créer ça t'a dit pour nous piler. Mon papa, mon grand frère Tony, mon petit frère Vincent, qui est mort, lui est mort. La banque de la mort mystérieuse. Moi, encore vivant, je travaille 3 fois avec moi. 2 frères, et moi, je fais comme 3 frères. Et mon papa avec moi. Nous, créons ça t'a dit. Moi, obligé de sauver là-bas, dans les 80. Et même, je n'ai pas l'audace de dire ici, non. Là, tant mon femme, papa, mon sorti, sorti, puis dis-moi, sorti là-bas. Oblige, moi, tourner la compagnie encore. Un jour, qui sont dit, moi, composé sur la case. Moi, je dis, non, je ne vais pas vous tourner. Moi, je prends l'argent, ça dit, non, retournez, dit, moi, je dis, non. Moi, sorti, moi, aller. Il dit, Maxime Ferrari, docteur Maxime Ferrari, appelle mon Unity House, dis que moi, retourne la compagnie encore. La terre nous loue, mon fils fait mon aller. Mais qui croyait était à bouc? Qui n'a pas? Moi, pas retourner, il dit, je venais dire, moi, retourne la compagnie encore. Mais qui était pour moi? Mon papa, moi, pas retourner aussi. Là, il marche pour moi-même. Tu vois? Si pas ça, peut-être, ses amis, pour gagner, comme c'est pas ça, mon ses amis, pour lui qui arrive au Canada, je ne vais pas arriver avec moi après. Peut-être que tu as une autre mesure, I don't know. Ça, bon Dieu connaît. Grand merci, peut-être pas aucune mesure pour toute personne. Mon ami est propre, mon équipe est propre. Mon père est garçon, nous devons continuer. Voilà. Quand on prend quelque chose par force, vous êtes tenu par force. Quand on gagne quelque chose, écoutez le clair. On n'a pas un père sous père.
That's exactly what happened, right? It was taken by force and had to be held by force. It's very apt, very insightful.
Non, qui m'avait dit, quand on prend un pays, par exemple, 5 ans, et les 5 ans, ne sont pas le même. Ici, ça soit mon coup de moi. Si c'est coïncidence, ça a joué un petit malentendu pendant moi. Donc, c'est vrai. Si vous rejoignez, après, on pas débarquer pour s'en ensemble. Malheureusement, ça témoin, il appelle Roberto Cacchi, il est italien. Il n'est pas content. Nous montrons le coup de moi. Mais tous les soirs, nous sommes à moins que lui. Il est que moi. Mais le soir, il est ici, quand demande. Moi, je suis contre moi. Là, je matin, je suis coup d'État. Et du coup, on va prendre plus de temps sans l'atelier pour faire mission le côté SF. Le côté vis-à-vis Colgate pour là. Pour pas bien amener toi là. Banking crée bonne affaire, cause publiquement, par exemple, on fait bonne mission. Comme si un grand action fait. On touille pour faire. Vous êtes content de touille où? Vous êtes faire? Vous êtes content ça. Ça vous pas content de faire au camarade à cause de faire au camarade. Moi, non comme ça. Moi, je paye des quantités. La case en misère. L'atelier en étoile. Un garçon encore là. Comment vous gagnez toi là? Et ce qu'on fait comme ça, on amène Maccabi.
Excuse-moi, une question un peu délicate. Excuse-moi, si je me sens au garçon, tu es malade ou bien quoi?
Par contre, si bon, on t'a pas levé, vous gagnez un téléphone comme ça. Encore pas tout le monde qui t'a payé dans un pays qui n'est pas adapté. Il est très important. Nous, qui comprennent, qui comptent ça avant ça, cause de l'adaptation au système de notre pays. Mais on fait maximum pour m'adapter vite. Parce qu'on a une famille, d'ailleurs, on dépend de moi. 4 enfants, femmes, tout. Mais nous sommes capables de tourner, nous. Mais bon, pas tourner. On quitte plein là-bas. Pas qu'à voir se mettre tourner. Mais on persévère pour tourner seul.
Excuse-moi, pour garçon, il m'a aussi bien au Canada.
Tu vas au Canada. Tu vas aller descendre, retourner ici, et on t'a dit, mon fleury.
Mon condoléance.
Thank you. Non, pas mes amis, on dit Léni. Non, on dit Léni, mon grand garçon. Non, I'm sorry, deux fois, appelle Philippe et l'autre Tony. Philippe et Tony, dans mon deux fois. Un petit peu d'accident, mais ça joue contre la mort, c'est tellement mystérieux. C'est le 15 février, non? Fait le premier congrès PUP. 75, non? 75, chez nous, shérif. Ça joue mon tour, nous. 4 nous. Un garçon Eliot, driver. Mon fait quand l'accident arrivé, elle a write-off. Mon sorti vivant là-dedans. 74, mois de mars. De 4 hôpitaux. Bandit là, t'es 12,0. La santé encore. Nous commençons à travailler encore. Moi, c'était autour avant 1 an. Là, c'est pick-up tout. Bon, là, avec ce cimetière. C'est travail, faire MIB. Ensemble, on fait. Tu fini par pick-up 13 000 euros, à Béolabdi. 9, tiens, c'était. Fini par l'auto. Et le samedi, mon petit frère, il demande 50 euros, dans la midi. Il a sa petite pick-up propre. Il demande permission pour servir tantôt. Moi, je dis, il sorti en ville, là-dedans, il va apprendre. Tiens, 19 ans. Midi, et le samedi, nous qui travaillons là-bas. Nous travaillons samedi à l'époque. C'était ce midi, le samedi. C'est un garçon, il va pédaler. Tony m'a fait devant, maman derrière. Non, allez. Je croise avec mon petit frère, Philippe, en sopin, vis-à-vis de Oubert, comparatif dans le magasin. C'est un SPOP, premier congrès SPOP, au samedi, côté chez nous, shérif. Cause avec Philippe, nous continuons de descendre. Monter, il descend. Après 3 heures, à peu près, quand nous descendons, quitte Tony Soyal, nous avons un pick-up, ça pick-up, on va de loin, cascade Talbot, et d'Amirail. Une case. Là, il dit, nous avons coupé la porte au petit frère, nous connaissons. Cascade Talbot. Dans l'hôpital. Dans l'hôpital, Philippe est mort. Le lendemain, tous les amis, Afro Brothers, ils viennent pour donner, considérer Afro, ils ont servi longtemps. Nous tournons là, le Qatar, le matin, il y a une mauvaise nouvelle, il n'y a rien qui nous. Moi, je fais un cercueil, 2 amis de moi. On a un rafraîchissement de 20 heures, tu fais bateau. Tu sais, pour aller dans le cimetière, nous faisons un cercueil, toi, nous. Nanterre. Ça, il montre où, je ne sais pas comment je fais, mais je connais quelque chose à toi là. Tout le monde ne peut pas comprendre ce que je dis. Monte. 3 mois semaine. Un arrive en ville, parmi à 3 nous. Ça c'est 75. Essentiellement, je suis obligé à Nairobi. Pourquoi? Pour guetter si vous avez qui sont malades. On fait des semaines à Nairobi. Pas loin un docteur, soit disant. Là, pendant un, côté de réalité. Si je ne pas quitter ça, je vais au cimetière, je vais mort là aussi. Là, je suis arrivé en 80, je prends qui pour moi aller. À moi les mêmes. Le 26, 80, je m'ai oublié. Décembre. S'ils ont encore 6 mètres, moi, après, on va 4 mois d'asile. Là, c'est un mois net. Si je suis au Canada, moi, je suis mort aussi pareil. Je suis manqué aujourd'hui.
Well, you've definitely been through a lot, right? There's a lot that you've gone through, you know, with the passing of your brother so young, and then your son more recently, and medical treatment without being told why you're receiving medical treatment, being stuck on a plane and sent to another country. I mean, it's terrible, you know? And yet, out of all of that, you've just bounced back up and made successful business after successful business.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I can understand your frustration with those that are sitting in the pirate taxis because they don't have your tenacity or creativity or resilience, you know? It's really quite amazing.
Moi, j'attends.
Yeah.
Parce que madame fait dire, moi, je vais auto, dès qu'on a visité un jour, quand je basé ma cabine, pour voir, il y a une possibilité, tant qu'ils sont mon cause. Viens voir ce que je dis. Mon père, si on fait aucun du monde dit tort, moi, je me excuse. Quand on connaît, tout le monde a fait des erreurs. Mais ça a été erreur, comme si gagne, amener là comme un witness. Dans ce cas, je connais, mon avoir l'infection d'affaires. Je hope les caisses à des familles avant de m'en sortir là.
And that's very good of you. I mean, it might have just been your own empathy, you know, for their situation, right? Without saying, you know, this is terrible what's happening in this country, you know? Just, it might have been that essence that made them feel that maybe you could help them, you know?
Mochila. C'est vrai que le mot compte moi très bien. C'est la première Youth League, soi-disant. Quand on a 4 ans, fait 16 ans, 17 ans, c'est la première Youth League. Nous avons le bill, la case, le malheureux. La Youth League SPUP. Comme ça, tu formes. Nous, samedi, nous sommes dimanche, nous dévouons, nous pas demander à personne. Ça, quand même, nous avons le bill, la case, Man maladie de montagne partout. Donc, le docteur dit, bon, mais dans l'assemblée. Un des maman, ils connaissent ensemble. Ben, non, tout le monde, ben, ils tendent moi là. Ils connaissent le monde ensemble. Nous faisons ça. Nous believe dans quelque chose. Mais once on a ça fait, c'est ça. Ça dit sans motiver notre monde. On ne peut pas continuer à accepter ça. Ça dit sans moi. Ça qui fait moi, je sais, mais bien le grand l'ennemi aujourd'hui. Vis-à-vis de ça, nous qui believe là-dedans. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, pas believe là-dedans. Mais habituellement, on n'a pas commencé encore. Le point physique pour me faire, ça va pour moi.
Mr. Pillay, thank you so much for coming forward and for also not just answering the questions of the Morgan family and Mrs. Tall, but also sharing your own story. We really appreciate that. It's always a privilege for us, you know, to have the trust of somebody to tell their story. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And it's amazing. You are very resilient.
Thank you.
You know, and a very successful person overall, right?
Thank you.
Despite the
Thank you.
hardships. So we're very grateful to you. And yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we have no further questions for you unless you have something you would like to add.
No, I think I've covered most of all that I should. I wouldn't have thought I would have come and say, Jiban Zabaki won't dire, but monoblizing to plan. But the body, my two fait. If I don't say that, even get out.
Là, David dit un peu, là, il sortit beaucoup, là. Hein?
Now I can have a shot of whiskey when I leave this place.
OK.
Can I go? Can I leave now? Can I leave?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank
Faut
you.
espérer
Thank
capable
you.
dormir plus bien tantôt.
Thank you very much. We hope so. So we will now adjourn and we will return at 1 o'clock.
All rise.
can you please call the hearing number for the record?
This is Commission hearing number 50 of Friday, 14 February 2020 in case 005, Khaled Ball, case 0022, Olivia Vincent, case 0031, Sharon Morgan, case 0032, Derek Morgan, case 0033, Sylvia Morgan, and case 0045, Clive Delory.
Thank you. Can you please call the next witness?
Mr. Clive Delory.
Thank you, Mr. Delory, for appearing before the Commission today and doing so in public session. We think it's important that people appear in public session so people of Seychelles understand what happened to people, but also then understand the recommendations that this Commission will be making on individual complaints. So you are the complainant in this case, and the Commission invites you to set out your complaint. Take your time, and if you wish to adjourn at any time, just let us know. We're happy to accommodate you, but the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having me, and on behalf of all of us, we appreciate that you accepted our request. Regarding our complaint. Briefly, I just want to go through and explain about my father, the reason why I'm making the complaint. So my case is regarding Robert George Deloyer. So my name is Clive George Deloyer, the son of Robert George Deloyer, and was appointed executor of my father's estate, as he had died intestate. Even if he passed away in 1989, I was only appointed executor in 2016. I will later explain why it took so long. So he was born on the 25th of May 1923 in the Seychelles, and his parents were from Bellon, so he grew up in that area. He went to train at a very young age, with regards to just after the Second World War. And he went to train on Saint-Anne, and after that, I think he went to Egypt in a camp in Cairo, and he was based there as an officer with other colleagues, Seychellois colleagues. He was a very strong lad, and he loved doing sports. And not long, I think he was not based in Egypt for long. When he came back to Seychelles, he assisted the family into running the business. I think it was mainly the Fisherman's Cove Hotel. And he was very interested in farming and started a tobacco plantation on the property at Bellon. He had also invested in cold storage, which is where the mid-corner is. And he also had fishing boats. And after having been quite successful in business, he was approached, I think it was around 1967 to 70, by Mr. Mancam to get into politics. And we all know once one has acquired some finance, they are attracted by the politicians. So this was obvious, and it was so. He was also, after being appointed, I think he went through the elections, and I think it was around 1970 where he became a minister in the coalition government. And around that time, I'm not sure, but he was also approached by, I believe, the same person who gave them the news that Seychelles will be given independence. I think it was Mr. Bruce Gredbach, who also informed him that they were considering him to be knighted by the Queen. So,
Wow.
but he declined the offer, so he did not accept it. So he formed part of the coalition government, and he was in England when the group of well-known people took over the country by force. At that moment in time when he was in London, he was actually given, they were given an ultimatum of 10 days for them to decide if they would come back to Seychelles. And I'm not sure exactly when he came back, but knowing him, he loved Seychelles, he loved, and I don't believe that he could have ever stayed in England. He loved farming, fishing, and going, on the boats. So having nothing in England, I think he took the choice of returning to his home country. But I think only two of the ministers, himself and Mr. Chamlishechi, came back that were actually based in England when the coup happened. And I think he also, how can I say that? He asked his nephew, I think, at the time to go and speak with Albert. He was a bit scared, I mean, he didn't know, they were given 10 days, and I think most of them declined the offer because they were scared. But him, I think it was brave, very brave of him, but also not being silly. I think he asked his nephew to go and talk with Albert, and just to guarantee that he will be okay when he came back. So I think that was done, and eventually he returned to the Seychelles, and he was advised to go and stay. He had, I will talk about this later, he had the island called Bird Island, L'Île aux Vaches. He was asked to go to Bird Island. I don't know if it was for his safety or if they didn't want him to be involved into anything. So he stayed quite a while on Bird Island. So I can't remember. I think it was a while before we saw him, before he came to our house on Mahi. So he did not get involved into politics. He avoided any situation that would basically give them any reason to take everything that he had. And he was scared of them. I think he tried all his best to take actions that would deter them from taking the place that he loved the most, which was Bird Island. So I will explain about this later regarding the decisions that he made a bit to protect. I know, like you said when I sent my request, that you do not look into cases where lands have been sold privately, or but I will explain why the situation happened. First of all, then I will go through the different cases that I brought forward. So my first case is one property at Belom. So Robert Deloy and Mr. Gisavi, who represented his mother, Marie-Thérèse Deloye, the wife of Gisavi Senior. And on the 7th of December 1970, they sold the whole property to a Mr. Claude Gilles Grandjean, transcription registration volume 53, number 3. I think you have this document with you. And I know this document is in French, but I'll just read in English what our claim is regarding. So Mr. Claude Gilles Grandjean, there was a provision in the transcription, undertakes to hand over to Mr. Robert Deloye and Maitreus Deloye without any payment during a period of 4 years counting from the 31st of March 1971. A portion of land of a minimum of 1/2 acre to each of them at any place of the said property, provided it is accessible to a main road and that it is used for housing construction. And I think it's very important because this document will be different from the provisions provided in the other documents of the sale of land. What it is basically saying, there's a reserve of land, which in there, as it's stated, as from 31st of March 1971, they had 4 years to claim the footprint. Or they had to decide, like, I think it was something like 79, the whole property was something about 79 acres of land. So they had 1/2 an acre each, and the choice was for them to decide which place the 1/2 acre would be. So the first choice was theirs, so during that 4 years. So if they didn't, then I think the owner of the land could claim there and leave the remaining 1/2 acre each to any place that they believe was their desire. So they could make the choice. So that was basically the difference between this one.
Can I just clarify? So if they didn't make a choice within the 4 years, could then somebody else make the choice for them? Or
Yes, it was the owner, so they were selling it to the
Yeah.
owner. So the owner gave them the right for them to make the choice where they would want, and they put the conditions in there that it has to be a housing estate, and it had to be accessible to where they're claiming. So those were the conditions put in there. So as you can see, this never happened. So I think from that, the 4 years elapsed in 1975, I think. So going to from the 31st of March, 1971. So
what is it that did not happen? It wasn't developed as a housing estate, or
sorry?
what is it that did not happen?
No, there was no case. I will explain later. There is no case regarding this. Actually, the land was it was forfeited by the government. So there was no. The claim was. I will explain later.
After they had sold it to Grandjean, the government acquired it.
No.
So when did the government acquire it?
I will just give me a little moment.
Okay.
So, Grandjean and Mr. Deloye and Mrs. Gisavi signed a promise of sale to Archipel Promotion Establishment. Okay, that was on the 21st of February, 1976. Okay? So, Grandjean, when he decided to sell the piece of land to Archipel Promotion Establishment, I think it is regarding a lot of people know this land, Archipel, to be the company to belong to Mr. Annam Khashoggi. Okay? And registration volume in the transcription 58, number 324. So, Grandjean selling to Archipel Promotion Establishment. In that sale transcription, again, it came into there as they had not decided where the footprints would be from the previous sale. Again, from this sale, which was signed by my father, this promise of sale by my father and Mr. Gisavi. So selling to promotion establishment undertakes to hand over to Robert Deloye and Mrs. Gisavi representing Mrs. Gisavi, so she's a spouse of Mr. Gisavi Sr. Within 2 years of this date, a portion of land of 1/2 acre to each of them are decided to be agreed upon by mutual consent. So there's something changed now. It's not like the first one. So this one, it had to be agreed. So they didn't have the choice where to choose where the footprint would be. So this one had to be agreed upon by mutual consent in the zone designed for higher class residents. So basically, it is clear in the promise of sale that the director of the Archipel Promotion Establishment recognized and signed the document which was registered at the registrar. And on the 21st of June 1970, registered in transcription 59, number 92, the sale of land to Archipel Promotion, with a portion of land which later had to be agreed to hand over to Mr. Deloyer and Mrs. Gisavi within 2 years from that date. So after the coup d'etat, like I said, this was in 1976, right? And after the coup d'etat of 1977, none of the representative of Archipel Promotion Establishment would come to Seychelles and make any claim of the land. And on the 7th of August 1979, in the transcription volume 63, number 285, the government forfeited the sale of land between Claude Gilles Grandjean and the Archipel Promotion Establishment. So it is a forfeiture. It's different to an acquisition. And I do not know exactly what are the reasons why it was forfeited, but I think they had some conditions regarding constructions, which they put that the person, but since the coup, and if you look at it, so it's August 1979, so it's actually less than 2 years that was given, so they had to provide the planning permission. Then from the date of the planning permission, once approved, they had to construct within 1 year, I think. But it's obvious it was forfeited, and it's expected. You don't expect these people to come back into the country to complete the condition after a coup d'etat had happened.
They were all outside of the country at
Sorry?
that time. They were all outside of the country?
Yes. They were, as a company, they were not actually based there, but I think once the coup happened, they will not be coming back. So,
I mean, the 7th of August document says, I hereby give notice that in consequence of an unlawful transaction, the land, the subject of the deed of transfer, has been forfeited. What was the unlawful? Was it selling it to? What was the unlawful aspect of? Do you know of the transaction?
this is what I don't know. I suspect maybe they did not meet the sanctions put before them, but it's not clear about. But you shouldn't be saying unlawful.
Unlawful transaction means there was no right. To me, suggests there was no right to sell it. Otherwise it would be that violating, the terms of the transaction, not unlawful transaction.
Yeah, they couldn't go by the sanctions because it had not met the time required. So they probably would have devised some ways to actually to forfeit the land.
And Archibald Enterprises was owned by the friend, the good, rich, wealthy friend of Mr. Malcolm. Is that right? Adam.
I don't know if he was a
Khashoggi.
friend of Mr. Mankam, but Adnan
Yeah, he was a
Khashoggi
good
was.
friend. I think he was quite a good friend, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. According to Mr. Mankam's books, he was a good friend. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But I think Mr. Ganja also was a very good friend of Mr. Mankam.
When Khashoggi bought the land in the name of Archipel Company, it was a private transaction between him, Grandjean, Robert, Marie-Thérèse. Where does the government get the right to forfeit the land?
Actually, like the main thing is what's being said. It said unlawful. So this is what I don't understand. But the forfeiture can be done like if you have not met the agreement, regarding the sale of land.
But how can the government be the one, right, that does the forfeiture?
This is what I don't know.
So the point here is about a private transaction.
Yes.
So the question is why the government intervened.
Well,
to forfeit.
in the transcription, they have regulations which involve that the person, since they were a foreign company investing in Seychelles, they had certain conditions that they had to meet regarding the sale. So, but this would explain if they had not met the sanctions. But actually, regarding the forfeiture, it says unlawful transaction. So,
But if the conditions of the sanctions are not met, it means the sale is annulled and the land should return to the original owner, who would then have to pay the money that they received in any form or shape back to the purchaser.
yes,
Or does the government just come from wherever and step into it?
exactly. But what they regarding this the transcription, when they forfeited, they transferred the land to the Republic of Seychelles.
Were they paid any compensation for the land?
No compensations. And the difference between the forfeiture and an acquisition normally you will have to publish in the paper, but for forfeiture we knew because we've gone by there, we could see mango trees planted. We knew they had taken the land, but no one bothered. But since regarding to us the reserve, no one approached us. They must have seen the transcription, and they must have seen in the transcription that there was the reserve for my father and my auntie, and none of this, they didn't take any consideration. So I will explain later why my father and actually didn't make something about this, because he couldn't have, and he knew that if he did, there could be. So I will explain about this later. But
hang on, I'm still puzzled. Do you know if Grandjean received any compensation for the land?
no, he did not, because the land went straight to the from the forfeiture. The land went straight to the Republic of Seychelles.
The whole 79 acres?
Yes. And we are talking, I hope you understand, we are talking about where H Hotel is.
I know.
And on the opposite sides where there's been a lot of constructions,
Yes,
Obel and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So, I'm still... And you are claiming only for the 2 half-acre portions?
Sure, because that's all we had in the reserve. We had already sold the land. And like I said before, we had the choice of naming where the footprints would be. So this was one advantage which did not happen in the first sale. So the second sale was put to mutual consent to decide where the half acre would be. So none of this happened. So they took the whole thing, and it was finished, done. Okay, so later I will talk a bit more about, why my father actually kept a low profile and quiet about this thing. He never claimed about. So the next one I have is Providence, Zil Providence and Surf Island. Surf Island is actually a small island next to Providence Island. So it's one whole.
Not the Surf Island of England.
Not the one. Okay. So this is my next case. It's Mr. Robert Deloyer with other Seychellois shareholders bought the island on the 5th of August 1969 under the company name Providence Group and Fisheries Limited. Registered in transcription volume 51, number 305. The company started the business mainly doing salted fish, but it was basically mostly, I think they were also exporting to Tanzania, shark meat, salted shark meat, and they were producing copra, and they also had about over 100 pigs on the island. So the island had very good prospects, and they had about 30 employees, and they were working on and producing about, I'm talking about coconut nuts, about 120,000 coconuts per month. Okay? So there were a lot of development going on, and there were a lot of prospects, especially for international export. The company was basically using Anne and Isle of Farquhar as means of transportation to Mahe. So Anne, I think, belonged to the Temuljis. And it took, I think, about every 3 months for them to load the supply and send to Mahe of their production on the island. The cost for Anne was about 6,000 rupees for one trip at the time. And the Isle of Farquhar was about 10,000 rupees. The cost, transportation costs of the boat. So on the 15th of September 1980, Mr. C.J. Brooks, Carly Brooks, representing Providence Group Fisheries Limited, sold the island to France Albert René, representing the Republic of Seychelles, for 1.8 million rupees. That was on the 15th of August, 1980.
What was the position of Carly Brooks within the company?
I think he was the managing director. You can see on the yes, he was the managing director, I think. So it says there.
Open Fisheries.
Called and Mr. France Alberini, President and Commander-in-Chief in the Republic of Seychelles. So the agreement was between the two of them. So this is transcription 65, volume 65, number 223.
Was it a sale to Mr. Albert René as an individual or to the state of Seychelles?
He was representing the Republic of Seychelles, so it was to the Republic of
To
Seychelles.
the Republic of Seychelles.
So he was the one actually in the transcription. He was the one who represented the Republic, yeah. And as you can see, the payment was done by installation. So I think the first one was 1980 or 500,000 rupees. And the other one was the 1st of July 1981 of 100,000, of 200,000, and the 1st of July 1981, 100,000.
So that's 800,000. When was the other million paid?
The sum of 1 million rupees, 1 million, it shall be sold as follows. On the 1st, 1980, 500,000. On the 1st January 1981, the 1st of every month thereafter, until the 1st of June, 200,000 rupees, the 1st of every month. So it was paid monthly. And the other one was 100,000, 1st of every month thereafter until June. So the whole amount. So you see, I mean, there's a lot happened at the time, and you really could not claim, and the value of Providence itself, I mean, we can know and see Providence as an island before, and they were, until now, I think, they've just started since, I don't know if they know that there's the claim coming. They are having some project going there, an airstrip being built. And it's been there for years and years doing nothing really on the island. And as I said before, you could imagine 30 people working on the island, working with about 120,000 coconuts per month, and having a farm with pigs and calorifer, drying salted fish, and the prospect of international export were there, but they took it and it sat there, and now they are trying to develop Providence, and the shareholders at the time, they were about 13, all Seychellois, and they took the island, and definitely, like I said, madam, it was a sale, but my father didn't want. He was not desirable. He had no choice, you know. And since it's a company, and it was not the economical pressure, I mean, one thing which I wanted to put forward is once, before the sale was done, they introduced the boat Saint-Jean. I think you know Saint-Jean, right? And Saint-Jean itself, like I said before, Anne and Isle of Aqua were paying 6,000, and they were paying 6,000 and 10,000. So when they introduced Saint-Jean, the price tripled. So it came from to around 25,000 for one trip. Okay? Then that's the sort of pressure which they were making it difficult for the business to.
So the government acquired that boat, and then why did they use that? Why they couldn't use what?
No, they didn't acquire the boat. They
were given it.
The government was given it, but the government made you use the boat for your private.
You had to.
You had to use that boat.
You could not use Anne or Alpha Aqua anymore.
But why? So that you could just pay more money for another boat?
Well, for you. They are
Socialism, Michael's telling me.
Yeah, it was.
Right, so just a, I mean, but it's
All the means of production must belong to the people.
all the means of production must belong to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the transport system to the outer islands became nationalized.
But why,
Nas-
why, if you were helping the people, and these were Seychelles people on this island, why make it 3 times more expensive? And
Well, it was 3 times more expensive for the owners of the island to get their stuff.
that's what I
there
mean.
and
Why
back,
make
yes.
it? You know, how's that consistent with for the people? Socialism for the people. It's meant to be better for you, not worse.
It, as Mr. Goncourt said, it is better for some of the people.
Mr. Delory, so on clarification, Mr. Delory.
Yes.
You said here that in the case of Providence Fishery Limited, your father owned 20%. Am I correct? In your statement.
Actually, I've been doing this research. The structure of the company at the registrar, I've been told because my cousin, my father's nephew, he knew a lot more about what was happening, and I don't have any concrete information, but I believe that the purchase was around, at that time was probably around 900,000 rupees. And we told investors, I think my father had invested around 200,000 rupees as one of the shareholders. So I'm not sure about the rest, but I believe that there were about 3 of them who had the same amount, so they had 22. Calculating from the 900,000, it would become around 22.5% share for him and the others. And I think some of them had invested around 75,000 or probably 25,000, but there were about 13 of them, I think.
13.
Yeah. Also sure, I think. Yeah.
There are still, some of them are still here.
Yeah, I mean, they have, the hairs are still here, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
I can later probably give you the names of all the shareholders.
Do you know what roughly is the area of Providence? How many acres?
I'm not sure, but it's a very big island. Even Surf Island is quite, I mean, I do not know the exact, but it's very big, and it's been abandoned for quite a long time. Nothing has been happening on Providence Island since they purchased it. So
they purchased it and then they just didn't work it, didn't use it. What happened to all those 30 people that worked there?
I think once they purchased, I'm not sure about what happened, but I think either they took some or I don't know, but I think some people must have stayed, you know, with once the government took it over. But I don't think they will keep 30 people and doing nothing on the island.
But I mean, did they, when they purchased it, did they purchase the pigs and everything?
Yes, the whole thing.
Okay.
I think in the transcription, no, it actually, no, it does not. It must have, so. But I think that 1.8 million calculated at the time, so it doesn't really reflect the value of the island, and you know. So I know the island is there, and I'm sure I'm not the only one from the heirs that are claiming regarding. You probably see other people probably making the claim regarding this. So my next claim, this is a very interesting one actually. It's Little Platte Island. Little Platte is very interesting because I will probably elaborate more regarding this later on. But on the 29th of July 1976, United Island Development Limited bought the island from Mr. André Delhomme, who was acting as fiduciary of the heirs of Chauvin and Hossein, I think. In a transcription, volume 59, number 135. And the company has been shocked off at the registrar. Like I said, I do not have any information about the. I have a few information, but I do not have all the information. So I don't even know. I knew that my father had a share, and if he sold his share before the government purchased the island, this is I don't know. Or if he sold it after. But
did you say that Delhomme was representing Cauvin and Hossein?
this was he was acting as fiduciary. That was in the first sale for Little Platte to this United Island Development Limited. Actually, I believe that he probably sold his shares in the early 80s, so I am not sure about that, but I will try and find some more information. But I did go and search at the company and no information regarding both Providence and Little Platte Island. So on the 9th September 1983, United Island Development Limited sold the island again to the Republic of Seychelles, represented by Mr. France Albert René, Commander-in-Chief. Little Platte. Transcription volume 17, number 204.
And how much was it sold for?
900,000
900,000.
rupees. But the funny thing regarding Little Platte is that Mr. René himself had a share in it. And I believe that my father probably sold his shares before they acquired it because he wanted to get out of the company of those people that owned. Sorry?
Did he sell it to Mr. René then?
No, he sold it. I think he sold it, if I'm not mistaken, it was sold to Giovanni. She also had a share in it, I think. If I'm not mistaken, huh?
Those were shares in United Islands Development Limited.
But then the government purchased for 900,000, but I don't believe my father had any share when it was purchased, but I believe that it was done, he probably sold his shares after the coup d'etat, but he sold it, I think, just to get, just to get out of the company of those people. But I would like to find out more regarding Little Platte. Some stories.
Interesting because they were shareholders and it's company sold back to the Republic of Seychelles. Just wanted to have a lot of information.
Sorry?
You have to look for information because we want to know more about Little Platte.
Sure.
Yeah.
They were shareholders and they sold it to the Republic
of Seychelles.
Yeah. And he was the
buyer.
He was the one representing the government.
Yeah.
Have you, just a thought, have you talked to Your cousin, I think, is Gisabi of Bird Island.
Sorry?
Have you talked to Gisabi of Bird Island? He would know.
Yeah, I've been. He knows about. I think he has a good memory. Also, he knows some about the transaction that took place. And actually, we are very. We talk to each other every now and then. Actually, try to get some information from him. But he also is someone who was very involved with the island, so he knows. He's actually on Bird Island now, and he knows how the situation of the islands work. And he was actually the one on Providence. He was the one who actually did building the calorifer on Providence Island. So at a very young age, he was very involved in the business on the islands. So I'll go to my next. It's basically, I don't know how to put it, it's not the case, but what I wanted to put out is that it was approved in the National Assembly that ex-ministers that were forced out of office by consequences of the coup d'etat would be paid all their pensions. Okay? I wanted to use this as an example of what we expect to see happen with regards to the recommendation of the Truth and Reconciliation and National Unity. It will be no different to the recommendations that the Assembly are putting forward as bills. Knowing the administration, they will decide when and if they will act on any recommendations. And this recommendation has been sent from the National Assembly for them to act on it. I think it's probably 2 years or maybe 3, I don't know. And they have not done so. I think it is fair removing someone, and I think the only survivor person removed from office that's still alive today is probably Mr. Dauphin. And I think he would have liked to have something before he passes away regarding, the pensions of the ex-ministers. And to me, I bring the questions to you, commissioners. How different would your recommendations be before the administrations, since a lot of recommendations coming from the National Assembly are just left probably on the shelf. And we are expecting this to happen. We are expecting a lot of it, and I completely in favor of the position that was made by Mr. Gankou, that if we see any cases that are clear-cut, that we should put forward and see how they act on it. We don't wait 3 years or when Madam has gone and find out that the cases remain on the shelves. It has to happen now. We have to feel that something is happening. And I think this is probably what they are thinking about, is probably let them come here and talk and say what they want. Eventually, it will be something that will be put on the shelf and no one will probably talk about it. I think this is something that we should, probably consider.
I mean, we totally agree with you. I mean, if there's no people that have expectations about outcomes from this process, if those expectations are put on the shelf, then we shouldn't have bothered. Really, we shouldn't have. I will be very annoyed, right, because I've come here and devoted my time, left my own life,
Yeah.
to try and achieve something for this country, with these national commissioners who will be left carrying the legacy, right? So when I'm gone, they will make sure things are implemented, but we need now to have identified sources that we can tap into. Because if we're granting amnesty to people, that is, shall grant an amnesty, you'll get that immediately, right, from this commission, and the person that life has been ruined will be waiting for their compensation payment. It's not going to bring reconciliation. The two have to go hand in hand. So we have urged that. We continue to urge it. I mean, we think it's so important. And I'm sort of, I don't know the full circumstances, but I look at the new constitution, the provisions in Section 7, and we see files where some people today are still waiting to have that. That cannot be. That cannot be. If this country wants closure, then we have to fold everything over and close it all up, which means the recommendations are accepted, we hope, and implemented, right?
Yes.
So we totally agree with you, and it's something that we will continue to push. And it helps us to have community members like you make that clear message, right? Because at the end of the day, it will have to be pressure, from the community as well that makes that happen. But it would be very disappointing if these things were left for years, right? Or not at all.
Yes. And I want to take this opportunity for me to explain a bit about the character of my father, how he felt. I think coming back to the property at Belom, he had this property, half an acre. So you're probably asking the question, why didn't, he come and make the claim? We all know what was going to happen. They had already decided what they were going to do. And I believe Mr. Gisavi Sr. did write a letter to the Attorney General at the time and regarding the property at Belom, and they just replied and saying there's nothing there, regarding the half acre of land. So my father, I would say, he was somewhat very, I wouldn't say scared, but he was trying to protect something, keep something. And doing that, what happened is that he basically took everything that he had on his name during that time. Because I don't know if you realize this, there was this pressure, and he felt this. I know he felt it. And I spoke with a few people inquiring about this, about the fact that you could not have more than one property on your name. I think you've heard this before the commission also, but it was not there. It was not there it was not established as a regulation, but the fear was there. And what he did is the property where we're staying at Glassy, he transferred it on my elder brother's name, because just to prevent them from, taking what he had. And there was the property in town where they have the Indian temple. I don't know if you remember, it was an office where we used Bird Island office, and it was owned by my father and Gisavi. And they sold it for something like 300,000 rupees. They sold it. And everything that, all the property that were on his name, the properties, he kept only Bird Island. So after the coup d'etat, he was the sole proprietor of Bird Island, which he had bought from, I think it was Coconut. It was the company owned by the Temuljis, I think. I think they mentioned this name, some Coconut Enterprise. I don't know if you need this document of my appointment as executor of my father's estate, so you can make a copy. But with regards to Bird Island, he sold, I think it was in 1980, half of the Bird Island to Gisavi. And he was left with half undivided share. So, Madam, this is the reason why I actually took in 2016, because my father passed away in 1989. And in 2016, with all of us heirs, I took it upon, they appointed me as executor. Because we still have half undivided share of Bird Island, which was leased to Gisavi in 1988, just before he passed away in 1989. He leased the half for 99 years for payment of 600,000 rupees per annum. And later, of the same year, I think, of 1988, he waived the payment. So he waived the payment of the lease. So we have now a lease since 1988 for 99 years on the island. So I am basically appointed. So I'm looking after my father's estate and claiming the property at Belom and Providence, and also claiming the fact that he was someone, I would say, it affected him because he had a lot going for him. And we can never imagine, but he always said, you know, that that thing didn't affect him. He kept going. His survival was very important. And he was always protecting the half undivided share of Bird Island, which was the only thing he had on his name. So.
Why did he waiver the payment?
He basically, because he knew he was going to die, and he waived the payment because he didn't feel that, you know, his children were ready to take up the lease. So he decided, I think he decided he negotiated with, to receive a lump sum and waiver the payment of the lease. So you can imagine the pressure he had, you know, at that time. And he made the choice, and that's where we are today.
Are you related to Gisavi?
He is my cousin.
He's a cousin, okay.
I mean, I think there's some other documents that you have that we might not have here, so it would be good to get copies of them, I think, so that we can look into it. But I think the claims are quite clear from your presentation, so I understand them now, whereas I didn't just on the National Assembly grievance form, right? It was a bit hard to understand the complexities, but we understand it now. So and I think we understand the claim. So the other claim is for the half of the Bird Island. Where is that now? Is that still in your father's name or your name?
Yes.
Yes. So that,
But
you've waived them.
it's
yeah.
been waived, but
Yeah.
the ownership is still there.
The ownership's still there. Okay, so that's what
So the heirs, the children, will get something in the future.
I mean, it was lucky he got to keep that, right? I think. I mean, he was very brave to come back. You know, only 2 of them come back. I mean, because the country had been taken over, you know, by violence, effectively.
Yeah, I
and he
mean, I
came
can
back.
imagine the hardship of those who stayed back, because I believe some of them had it very hard because, you know, you left everything behind and find you stranded in a place where it's raining most of the time and the weather is not as good as it is here. And especially with his ways, he wouldn't have survived there. I don't believe so. So he had to make that choice, I think, but he did try. Like I said, he did try to see what would the reaction be about his request, and I think eventually he took it. I don't think he would have come back if he felt that, you know, his life would probably have been really in danger, you know. But coming back, he had the opportunity, and he lived the rest of his life, you know. He had the opportunity of being on the island and, you know, at least enjoying that.
Like a prisoner, because he wasn't allowed to engage in politics, that's for sure, right? So effectively, a prisoner, maybe, yeah. With beautiful scenery. Makes up for it, right? Any further questions? No? Thank you so much for setting out your complaint, for setting it out so clearly, for bringing documents. It makes it so much easier for us, so we really appreciate that. We will, Julia, if we can, photocopy the documents that we don't have. We will continue to work on your file. You can always contact Julia as soon as we've finished. We'll make our recommendations, right? We do have a lot of cases, I have to admit we do. You're 45, but yours is not that complex. That's my initial assessment. So hopefully we will be issuing determinations by the time of our next report, which is in at 6 months' time. 6 months' time. So hopefully all going well. And then we've just got to make sure that our recommendations are picked up and implemented. But thank you very much. We have no further questions for you unless you have a question for us.
Not really. I just want to congratulate all of you for the hard work. We, like I said, we welcome this opportunity. We wouldn't have been able to do it, and especially like everyone would have wanted that commission to have happened before. But there was only one party that prevented it from happening. And the fact that it didn't happen before, and the majority of the people have, not majority, but most of them have passed away, is basically the fault of one only. So if, yes, we have open wounds again, but if it had happened before, then it would have been closed, starting to close long time back. But that's where we are today, and we have to accept it. Even it's better late than never. And I do appreciate the effort, and I hope that we take the Commission very seriously, and I know the problems you've had with social media and so on, and with regards to everyone, but I would encourage everyone who has a case or who has had any issues, in the past to come forward. Don't be afraid, because they really, whatever they do, it's an opportunity which we have to take now. Just, I mean, we do feel that, we are vulnerable some, because the threats which one can get or remarks which can be said about someone. But I think the most important thing is to don't let this stop you. So really wish that anyone who do have any thing that they want to put forward before the Commission, that they should do so. And I can understand and respect for those who wish to go behind closed door. But again, thank you very much to all of you. And if you ever need me for any clarification or further, I'm available. And thank you.
Thank you very much again, and thank you for those words, and hopefully they encourage other people to ignore social media, right? We can all be destroyed if we sit there reading all the things that are written about us. Some people just aren't very nice. It's unfortunate, but thank you.
Okay.
We will adjourn for 5 minutes and then we'll be back. Thank you.
All rise.